Welcome to the baseballswing.com. Joe Colucci here with you, taking a look at Bo Bichette and the two moves or two swings he has. So we're going to start off here first with his, normal swing, and then we're going to go to his two-strike approach. Kind of talk about maybe what's different, what's the same, and we'll take it from there. So Bichette kind of sways back just a tad fine. He gets into his leg kick here, pretty high one. And as we often talk about, something going backwards, something going forward. So you'll see Bichette's right elbow working back behind him as his leg starts to work forward. He gets into heel plant here, and just a frame or two past that, look at the massive difference between his shoulder turn and his hip turn. Now, look, this is a great power source. If you have this athletic flexibility, I guess, that is, to me, off the charts, yeah, you can utilize this. Is it all good? I'm not so sure. It might be excessive, but he makes it work. And in general terms, that type of flexibility can be very, very helpful. I almost liken this to if you ever watch a young jiu-jitsu player, how flexible the kids are when they're young and they're training and they're 7, 8, 10 years old. Their bones and muscles are still kind of soft and developing. By the time they get to 18, 20, 25 years old, they have flexibility that's it's off the charts, right? They can get themselves physically in positions to maneuver that are very uncommon. I believe that happens when you develop at a young age, again, when your bones and muscles are kind of pliable. I don't know this, obviously, but I bet he was hitting balls and off the tee and whatever with his dad and at a very, very young age. And I suspect that might be where he developed this kind of flexibility. Maybe dad told him, hey, about shoulder-hip separation at a young age, and he took it to an extreme because he was young and flexible. And then just never stopped. Consequently, he's in a position now where he's extraordinarily flexible, and he's using it to create all kinds of power. Or he's just flexible. Either way, this is not something, guys, I would tell you, hey, try and get in this position. It's very likely that you don't have this type of flexibility. So that's fine, too. The idea of hip-shoulder separation still is one of the core foundations of developing power. So anyway, he gets that massive hip shoulder separation, gets into heel plant, and then kind of just unwinds into impact. We'll note here the ball's up a little bit. We start getting up to waist high or higher in the strike zone. It is very natural to bow out this arm. I suspect this pitch might be just a tad inside as well. So what I do like is this right elbow kind of close to the right side, very connected. You see almost a 90-degree angle here in his top hand. But again, let's allow this to happen as an adjustment for pitches that are up. It's something you should be looking for in your swing, in fact, because it's necessary. Just as it's necessary to stay connected to your body, and he's doing so with his right arm. So he finishes nice and full through it, straight right arm in line with the bat. In fact, the bat hasn't quite caught up yet. There we go. Good indication that he's not flipping it through impact. So if we call this his A1 swing and he's doing this until he's got two strikes, I want to see really what's different about his swing when he goes to that two-strike approach. So kind of just run this through a little bit, and you'll see there's no leg kick. But what you are seeing is that same massive hip-shoulder separation. So in lieu of the leg kick, what Bo's doing here is he's rotating his knee, his hip. You'll see the back of his foot is kind of facing the pitcher. Crazy. And then as he goes into heel plant, he's rotating that foot, if you focus on the lead foot, to an open position. All the while he's doing that, watch what's happening with the differential between his hips and his shoulders. Now, at this point here, as is true in his other swing, his A1 swing. He's got a lot of hip rotation, right? He's really just kind of gathering into that right side. He's not leaving his hips facing the plate. He wants to just not so much wind up, but get a lot of weight and everything kind of back behind the ball, so to speak. At this point, though, he's going to rotate those hips open, and his shoulders don't give at all. His shoulders are still facing back towards the catcher. Pull up a line or two here. So more or less in the same position with the hips kind of square to the plate, maybe slightly open, tilting just a little bit up. Shoulders still pointing down, chest still pointing back. I do want to isolate that foot one more time for you. And just kind of look at that. That's how he's kind of allowing his hips to have this massive rotation, yet he keeps his shoulders back. And then he comes down through impact. I want to kind of focus on his impact position here. You note this arm is now straight across his chest. The ball's down in the zone a little more, and he's able to achieve this position. He's also still right elbow along the right side. Beautiful position there. Again, almost 90-degree bend. Pitches down just above the knees, I'd say. So the takeaway here is a couple things. Specific to him, it's about the hips and the rotation and the separation. But just overall, this is an ideal position at impact with that arm kind of draped across the chest and, as I said, the right elbow connected to the hip. As the ball moves up in the zone, the natural adjustment would be to kind of bow out his left arm, as you saw in the other stance and swing. All right, so he gets through impact again, very wide. Nice alignment between the right arm and the bat. No flip. And all this said, as amazing as this, I just want to watch this again. This is so crazy. This is such a power generator. But again, I caution you, please. He's got extraordinary flexibility. So if you saw this in a smaller dose in your swing, that very well may be maxed out for you, and that's fine. Not many people that I can even think of have this kind of flexibility. But anyway, I'm asking myself, well, why does he even have two swings? If he's sitting here with a two-strike approach, quote unquote, and he feels like if he does this, meaning taking it back without the leg kick and just kind of rotating back there, if he feels he can make better contact this way, and he's creating this kind of separation, even when he doesn't lift his leg, why does he have two swings? Why doesn't he just do this? And, it's not, I'm not the only one saying this, and I want to give a shout out to a young man named Ian Jenkins. It's Ian Jenkins Baseball, I believe is his name here on YouTube. He's got some great stuff, very interesting stuff. And as I prepared to do this Bichette review, I knew of Ian, and I looked at his work, and again, a lot of respect for it. He's got some very interesting thoughts on the swing. So, yeah, please go see him. Anyway, he has a short out there, and it was very simply put, well, if you got a two-strike approach and it gives you a better chance to barrel it up, why don't you just use that? And you know what? Quite frankly, like I said, it makes a lot of sense. It's not an original thought, but it's something that needs to be contemplated and stated from time to time. And really ask yourself, if he's building up all this momentum and torque and tension in his two-strike approach, I don't know if you could be in a more powerful position than he is here. So it's not like the leg kick's giving him power. Now, look, I'm not inside his head. I don't know what it feels like to him. But I do know he swings like this with two strikes, so why don't you do that all the time? I would think, at least on the surface, without ever speaking to him, that this is going to produce a lot more consistency for him and more barrels, and that's why he's doing it. If you get a pitcher that's a tough matchup for you for some reason, you don't see the ball well out of his hand or whatnot, why not just use this approach? It gives you a better chance to barrel it, obviously, so... but that's a question for him to answer. Anyway, I hope that helped. I hope you enjoyed the video. Joe Colucci with thebaseballswing.com. Please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and allows me to continue to make these videos. If you are looking for a lesson on your swing, go over to Joe Colucci, or I'm sorry, to baseballswing.com. There's an area there you can upload your swing. I'll take a look at it and draw some lines and do an overview, commentary, and send it back to you. I will then follow up with a phone conversation to make sure everything made sense to you and come up with a game plan from there. So, once again, Joe Colucci, baseballswing.com, signing off. Have a great day.